congrats to the Bucks and the great fans there. They were a huge presence both inside and outside the building last night. It was a great scene. But it did feel like that was almost the victory parade the night of winning a championship. But I mentioned this at the start of the postseason, probably reiterated that a couple of weeks ago. Whoever was the healthiest and whoever made their free throws was probably going to win the championship. It was going to come down to health. And remember, Giannis, we didn't know. We thought he might miss the rest of the playoffs with that hyperextended knee. But 17 of 19 last night from the line en route to 50 points, bearing the Suns. And this is really more than just about the Greek Freak. You come back from a 2-0 deficit against the Nets and the Suns. You know, Giannis goes down. You don't get derailed. Chris Middleton steps up. Drew Holiday makes everyone understand why other players hold him in such high regard. And even Coach Mike Budenholzer, he had to ignore the criticism and lead his team to a title. And I thought he made adjustments in the NBA Finals. I didn't think he made adjustments earlier, but he did in the NBA Finals. I'll go back, and it's not going to be talked about, but I do think that this might have been the turning point of the NBA Finals. It's not the Greek Freak. It wasn't a block. It wasn't a dunk. It was Drew Holiday picking Chris Paul up three-quarters court. I know you're probably saying, what? I just think it changed the whole rhythm of the Phoenix Suns because it allowed Chris Paul at age 36 to just kind of, get over half court at his own pace. And Holiday, who is one of the better defenders in the league, I think picking up Chris Paul played an integral part of them winning this championship. Long, grueling postseason. I'm sure people are going to say, got to put an asterisk by this. As I always say, you can kiss my asterisk. You won a championship, and you don't have to look back, right? Giannis saved his best game for the finals, the stuff of legends, and now the 2021 Bucks, part of NBA history. And you look at closeout games. I'll go back to Walt Frazier with the New York Knicks against the Lakers. I think he had 36 points, 19 assists. Magic against the 76ers without Kareem. You can even go back further than that. Bob Pettit had 50 points in a closeout game. But what you saw with Giannis last night is he got better and better and better. And I had been saying at the start of the playoffs or start of the finals, I don't want him bringing the ball up the floor. I don't want him shooting jumpers. I want him inside. He can't be stopped. That was it. Go inside and dominate. Make them have to deal with you because that's the hard Giannis to deal with. Jump shooting, I know he made a three. I don't care about any of that. But inside, he's so slithering. Kind of reminds me of Kevin McHale, who's as good a low-post player as there's ever been in this sport. Unguardable. And Giannis down low against Ayton, who's a pretty good defender, but even when they're trying to double team, he was just wonderful. Plus, you can't help but root for him. I mean, there's nothing polarizing about Giannis. You come over, he looks like a spindly kid, and he was. You select him, 15th? And the Bucks didn't know what they had. Giannis didn't know, what they had or who he was. I mean, that's why he's taken 15th. But you look at what he's done to get himself better. I mean, that's what's amazing. He made himself better. And you could tell that he will continue to do that. He'll continue to be better, want to be better, improve his shot, and, be more consistent at the free throw line. But I did like a lot of what he said. You can't help but, think he's a special person. But I love what he had to say about the free throws because, hey, every place he goes, they're counting 1, 2, 3. He's shooting air balls, which I'd been critical of, that you can't be. You go to the line too often, you can't be shooting air balls. That's embarrassing. But he heard everything, and then he wanted to let all of us know, how about this?
Don't let nobody tell you what you can be and what you cannot do. People told me I can't make free throws. I made my free throws tonight, and I'm a freaking champion. I made them and I'm supposed to make it. But I'm joking. Actually, I'm not.
A little bit of truth in every bit of kidding there.
Actually, I'm joking. Actually, I'm not.
No, I'm not. Yeah. You can't help but like him and root for him. It's a special story where he came from. He's got his two other brothers in the NBA. And he also we talk about the 76ers having a process or so-called process. Here is Giannis talking about Milwaukee's process.
Coach Bud believed in me, told me that in order for me to win, in order for me to be great, I have to trust my teammate. I have to trust my team. I have to make the right pass. I cannot be stubborn. And I got to trust the process. And it was a 3-year process, but we got it done. I want to thank all of these guys. And as I said, I've done it all on the court. I've done it all off the court, and I'm keep going. I can't stop.
And they got Drew Holiday. I think that was really important because there was a lot of talk that Giannis was going to leave Milwaukee. And of course, it was going to be Miami Heat or the Lakers. And he didn't want to join a super team.
Coming back, I was like, this is my city. They trust me. They believed in me. They believed in us. Even when we were lost, the city still was on our side. And, obviously I wanted to get the job done. But that's my stubborn side. It's easy to go somewhere and go and win a championship with somebody else. It's easy. I could go, I don't want to put anybody in the spot, but I could go to a super team and, just do my part and win a championship, still won. But this is the hard way to do it, and this is the way I chose to do it. And we did it. We did it, man.
This isn't a formula that teams can follow, just so you know. It's like, let's take a guy that we don't know if he can play. He's from Greece and doesn't look like he could hold up his body. 5 years later, he's the MVP. He's won the MVP twice, the MVP of the finals. This just doesn't happen. And it's one of the great closeout games of all time. You start to wonder who's more likely to get back to the finals. Well, the Bucks are going to have to go through a Brooklyn team that we think will be healthier. I don't know if there's somebody else that you look at in the East and go, all right, let's see what Philadelphia does in the offseason. But I would say Milwaukee would be more likely than Phoenix. I don't know what's going to happen to Chris Paul. Here is Chris Paul after the game.
Knowing that for so long you worked to get to this point, is there any solace in, hey, I've had this experience and I can learn from it and I might get back here?
I mean, it'll take a while to process this or whatnot, but it's the same mentality. Get back to work. You know what I mean? I ain't retiring, if that's what you're asking. That's out. So, back to work.
He's going to be 37, and I think there were reports that came out during the playoffs that he would probably decline a player option, a one-year option, and then he would probably sign a 3-year deal for $100 million with the Suns. If I'm Phoenix, I got to really look long and hard at that decision to sign him up for 3 more years. He had a good year. It just wasn't a great ending here. And I'm not going to put all of this on Chris Paul. I was not going to give him all the credit if they won. But I'm not giving him all the blame, certainly. It was not a great team. I think you had Booker, who played great at times. But that was a tough night for him. DeAndre Ayton had some great games in the playoffs. But when you have to, there's nothing. If you say to a guy, hey, I need you on the offensive end, but all you keep thinking about is what's going on the defensive end, because he knows whatever happens at the offensive end, now I got to go back and guard Giannis. And I got to guard Giannis the entire night, and he is not taking any time off. He played 42 minutes, and he was bringing it right to DeAndre Ayton. After a while, that wears you out, where you go, my God, he just scored again on me. Now let's go down at the other end. This Milwaukee team seemed like it was a better full team, deeper team, and they got contributions from people. And Mike Budenholzer did make some adjustments there. Yes,
Is that something you have to learn? Like if you're DeAndre Ayton, to manage those sort of understanding that you're going to give up buckets, but you still have to, like when they talk about you have to learn mentally what it takes to win a finals, or win a championship. Is that sort of what they're referring to?
He did say afterwards, hey, we didn't win, but this was a lot of fun. Like and he's a great personality too, and seems like a great kid. But I don't know if you in that mindset of how does this not affect you at the other end of the floor? where you're just being humbled. I mean, that's really what it is. And throughout the series, he was humbled by Giannis. And when you're a young player, I guess you can bounce back. You have more resiliency to bounce back. But I'm curious, DeAndre Ayton's trajectory, what his career arc is going to be after this season. Because I thought he was really good, and he could be a Hall of Good player for the Phoenix Suns. And Devin Booker looks like he'll be a Hall of Famer. But for everybody else in that supporting cast, they're going to need a little bit more firepower if they're going to think about getting back, and certainly in the West.